the guy behind us? I don't even know. He wasn't shooting me.
That's going in the video. Hey, what's up guys and gals? Mr. J313 here from Bro Gaming Official, and today I am bringing you my Asari Huntress guide for Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, I'm going to jump right into my weapons. I personally use the Vanquisher and the Falcon. Yes, the Vanquisher and the Falcon. Very weird combo, sniper and assault rifle for her. It is very interesting, but I pair the two because I see that her abilities, you don't need great recharge speed to make her great. Because I personally use Throw and Lance as extra damage or backup, and I use her invisibility grid, her stealth grid, for capping objectives, reviving teammates, or just getting out of sticky situations. So we're going to go ahead and jump into how I spec it. Now in Throw, I just dropped the first 3 skills. That's all I put in it because I don't really see it as anything else. I mean, some people might find a good use for it with her, but I personally have not yet. I do not have her at 10, but she is a level 20, so I have some extra skill points left over. I ended up respecking her a bit. I'll make a video on that if you guys would like. But on Stealth Grid, I went ahead and ran all the way to 5. On number 4, I went bottom. On number 5, I went top. Now, I didn't see a great purpose in doing the 6th skill because I don't really feel like with Stealth Grid you want great damage bonus since it takes ammo cells, because I just see that as a big waste. In my personal opinion, I feel like a tactical cloak is better. And then on Lance, I went with the all the way to 4, just doing a little extra damage. I see Lance as a good ability to have because if you are firing at someone and you don't quite get them, they just have a little sliver of health. You can use that to pick up the kill real quick, or a little bonus damage. And then on offensive biotics, I went to 5. I went top and top for 4 and 5. I didn't go to 6 with the build in its current state. I really feel like she doesn't need her biotic powers to be a great character. I feel like she's more of a, I guess a supportive role would be a good way to say it. And then on barrier, I went on 4, I went bottom. On 5, I went top, and I did not spec into 6 because barrier, the best skill about barrier is obviously recharging your shields when you hit 25 health. I haven't really had that big of a problem with her, seeing as with Stealth Grid you can really get out of most situations. It's just like having Tactical Cloak. You can go invis and run away if you need to, but it is nice to have if you have the extra skills. And then obviously the color doesn't matter. So that's really how I feel the best way to play her is she just seems more of a supportive role. She's not great at one specific thing like some other characters are. She's just good at quite a few things, you know. Like I said earlier, she's good at stealth tactics, having stealth grid. She can turn the entire team invisible to get out of a situation, or when you're at extraction and it's getting real heavy down there, and you just turn everyone invisible. If everyone stops shooting and kind of moves to separate parts of the extraction, you can really get out of it quickly. But we're going to go ahead and show off some gameplay now, and I'm going to show you why I personally used the Falcon with her. If you don't have the Falcon, you don't have to pair her with another weapon, or if you just prefer that having another weapon, I mean, really, that's all a personal choice, but I personally run the Falcon with her because I feel like having a grenade launcher with her sniper is just amazing because it gives her a really good crowd control aspect as well as some point blank damage for certain enemies, especially armored enemies such as a berserker or really any of the enemies you fight in with the outlaws who are all armored. And then even when it comes down to bosses, the destroyer, the fiend, the hydra, the Falcon works really well against all of those and taking down damage, because you don't want to use stealth grid to get the bonus damage for her, because in a boss it doesn't really stack up that well. But whenever you have a character who has tactical cloak, you can stack that very nicely, because I find that with tactical cloak there is a bigger damage bonus, especially when you spec into it all the way, and you can stay invis for 2 seconds after you fire your first shot. You can really stack some nice bonus damage. But see, as you can see right here, using Stealth Grid to jump in, any character with Tactical Cloak can do this exact same thing. They can jump into an objective, go invis, turn invis before they get to it, either way. But that Raider, he got off of the objective and he ran out. He did see me when I ran in. That is the only reason he continued to fire. So that's really the only thing I did wrong in that part. But as you can see there, I was using my Falcon to kind of clear those guys out because I didn't have a good line of sight on them. I failed to hit my target with the power, so I just thought that, hey, I've got a grenade launcher. I can bounce these grenades off the wall and hit this guy. And as you can see, I used Stealth Grid again, but I don't know if it's glitched or if someone knows exactly what is wrong with it. But sometimes when you use Stealth Grid, it won't show you being invisible, but you are. So as you just saw there, that Adai, I went invis, he ran in the room and then ran right out. He didn't even bother with me. So clearly I was invisible. He was not aggroed on me, so I'm not really sure what is up with that ability, but you kind of got to be careful what you get yourself into sometimes, because sometimes you forget you don't have it, or at this point, I don't know why I didn't use Stealth Grid to just kind of dash out of there. I wasn't really thinking at that moment, but I kind of got myself killed because the Asari Huntress is a very squishy character. She does not have a lot of health or shields. That's really apparent with all Asari. They're not meant to take any sort of damage, so you have to be very careful with how you play her. That's why I feel like this is a really good build for her, is because she can support her team as well as deal heavy damage with the sniper, and then back up a little bit of backup damage with her powers. You know, sometimes I find one really great thing about her having those powers with Stealth Grid is combos. She is really good at picking up biotic combos or tech combos if you have an engineer or someone with tech abilities on your team. I feel like that is really the only purpose for her having biotics, other than the fact that she's an Asari, so of course she's going to have some sort of biotics. But I really just don't feel like she has the biotics to deal damage. I don't feel like Throw and Lance are that great of an ability to just do great damage, like if it was Charge, Nova, Singularity, Shockwave. I don't feel like Throw or Lance is an important damage dealing power. But whenever she has Stealth Grid, it makes her a really interesting character and kind of wonky to play, because you don't really know what to do with her, because she's like, what? How do I do this? Well, like I said, I find her best as a sniper supportive role, because Stealth Grid, you can run in, cap objectives, get out of situations, or even revive teammates. And that's really where I think she personally shines. And as I was saying earlier, doing damage to Hydras or other bosses, the Falcon really does do some nice damage to boss characters, like I said earlier, Hydra, Fiend, Destroyer. Now, obviously, the Destroyer has shields, so you're going to want to bring those down. I don't feel like the Falcon really does that great of damage against shields. It is decent at best against shields, but if you can take out a Destroyer's shields first, and then the Falcon can just really go to work on a Destroyer after his shields are down. That's a really good thing about it. But other than that, you know, the Falcon is just a really good gun. It can do some pretty decent point-blank damage, and my Falcon is only at a level 1, so obviously when you keep getting it more, you're going to get more and more damage, more ammo, more everything for it, and it's going to be all around a better weapon. But as you can see, as a level 1, it is doing very well. And then as you can see right here, you know, I wanted to get to this other side of the rooftop, so I just dashed over as invisible, and it kind of drew some of the aggro away from me. I popped Stealth Grid, jumped across the roof, and they didn't even know where I went. They just kind of, they forgot about me. So now while I'm over there, I'm able to turn around and focus on the enemies from that side now, from over here, at a very safe distance. I feel like that's something that she is really good at. Like I said earlier, anyone with any kind of tactical cloak or Stealth Grid is great at getting out of a situation and turning it around. Especially when there's objectives or if a teammate needs revived. The Asari Huntress, she is just really good at that. But that's really, as I've been playing her more and more, that's all I've found that she's good at. Because everything that she can do, another character can do, and they can do it better. So I feel like she's just that kind of character that you play if you don't have one of the better characters. And even, I don't know. I don't know if it's just, I don't know her playstyle perfectly, or if I haven't experimented with her enough. because maybe she is better with stacking damage in Stealth Grid, but from what I have played with her, I don't feel like she's meant to be played that way, because like I said, it takes ammo cells, and I feel like Stealth Grid, when it takes ammo cells, it should only be used to get out of situations or as a supportive role to use with your teammates. That is the only time I personally believe that Stealth Grid should be used, because if you start using it more and more, even as to just stack damage, to deal more damage to bigger enemies, your team is really going to run out of resupplies throughout the map, because the Asari Huntress, she's going to have to run around and keep getting them if she is being used that way. But with me using her, I've noticed that even whenever I play with other characters who have to heavily use those recharge abilities, who have to continuously go back to resupplies whenever they need them, I feel like she is really good at working with those characters, because she doesn't need to constantly recharge them, because she doesn't need to use it that much, you know. She is an infiltrator class. As you can see, if you played any of the campaign, whenever you have to pick a profile for your rider, if you pick infiltrator, obviously whenever you dash and evade away, she turns invisible, and that is a clear aspect of the infiltrator. So that's why, another reason why I feel like you should be running a sniper with her, which is another thing that a lot of people are going to think. And whenever I tell people I have an infiltrator class with a sniper and an assault rifle, they're like, why? Well, and then I tell them it's the Falcon, and they're like, but why? Well, that's another thing. Like I said earlier in the video, I don't feel like she has to have her biotics to be a good character. She's more of a supportive role to do damage. Whenever I use my biotic abilities, the only time I really ever used them was to pick up a kill if they were super low health and I was having to reload, or to do biotic combos or tech combos. That's really the only time I ever felt like they were necessary to use. So I wasn't even worried about recharge speed with her, which is another thing, going back to skills. Whenever you're speccing into them, if you like this build and like the idea of it, you could play with some of the abilities how I had them specced, and some of them into 3 and 4. You don't have to even spec anything for recharge speed on the biotic abilities. Personally, Lance, I left it the same, but then I went to throw and I only left it in the first skill point, so I had a little bit more skill points to dump into a few other things. And I believe I went into Stealth Grid for the top 6th ability. But other than that, it was really the same build, because like I keep saying, I don't, she's such a weird class to play, because I don't feel like with Stealth Grid you should use it for weapon damage or any sort of damage. I feel like you should solely use it for objectives and getting out of situations, or getting into a situation to revive a teammate. That's really the only time I feel like you should use it. But Tactical Cloak having a recharge speed, I feel like if she had that, she would be a much better class, because she could just go invis and just stack damage. And then, but she would honestly be at the same point she is now. I really just feel like her biotic abilities, they don't have any synergy, in my opinion at least. I mean, if someone's unarmored and unshielded, you could just use throw and then lance them. I mean, you'd be doing some good damage. I don't know. She's an interesting character. That's really what I have to say about her. And I just feel like, the last time I'm going to say this, I feel like she's best as a supportive role for the team with the sniper and the Falcon. The sniper, you can really pick whichever you like. Any of them will work. My top 3 choices will always be the Vanquisher, the Widow, and the Black Widow. Instead of the Widow, you can also use the Ishray. I would personally, if you have the Widow 8, 9, or 10, I would definitely use that over the Ishray, the Ishare. But that is really the only time I would use it over that. I would consider, if you have a high level Ishare, I would probably definitely use that over the Widow, simply because of damage factor. And if you do have any stack damage, that thing will destroy some armor or shields or health or whatever, because it is just a great gun. So as we get down to the end of the video, guys, I'm going to give my final opinion on the Asari Huntress. And in my personal opinion, she is just a support character. That's all I've really found that she can be great at, being able to ghost cap objectives or get in and out of situations to revive teammates or get out of something sticky with berserkers or any other kind of large enemy. So that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. As always, if you liked the video, please be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe because we are coming out with all of our build guides and other gameplay. Be sure to check out everything else we have. And as always, guys, I will catch you on the next one.